Let's be honest. We always want to be more attractive. We want to be taller, have different hair color, have different eye colors. But those are unchangeable. So, what can you actually change? I used to dwell on characteristics that I couldn't change, like my height or my poopy brown eyes. But I started to own them and shift my focus towards things that I can actually change. I can always change my personality to become a better person, but I can also change what I present to the world, which is my appearance. So here are the four. So here. So here are the 5 things that you can copy to become more attractive. The first thing you have to do is work out 3 to 4 times a week. Women want men who are in shape. They don't want men who are fat or weak. If you currently don't work out, you're missing an extra boost towards your attractiveness. To enhance your body, you need to work out 3 to 4 times a week. And between those rest days, you can add some cardio, some running, biking, swimming, whatever sports you like. Because when you have a fit body, people will see you as a disciplined person. And when women see that, they know that you can take care of yourself because you're able to take care of your health. Women also want men who are strong. So when you lift a lot of weights, when you have bigger muscle, you appear stronger, you appear powerful. Even my girlfriend says that she probably wouldn't have dated me if I didn't take care of my health, or I at least didn't look like I did. So eat in a calorie deficit, train 3 to 4 times a week, and be consistent with it. You'll start to have a stronger presence. Alright, the next thing you have to do is you have to have a skincare routine. Some guys may hate this, but you have to have a skincare routine. Why? It may seem feminine, but it's not. For me, I have oily ass skin, which means that I have a lot of buildup when I exercise or sweat. So whenever I don't wash my face with something that actually cleans my face just gets more inflamed. I get a lot of acne and pimples, and it just looks horrendous. For most people, maybe water is fine, but for me, water isn't going to wash all the grime off my face. I remember a couple years ago where I didn't have a routine yet, so I would just come back home for basketball practice or track practice. I would just sit on my bed or on the floor, and all I would do was wash my face with water, go to sleep, blah blah blah, like every single day. But with puberty and everything, that sweat marinated in my skin, and I started to have breakouts, which made me look less attractive. And when I see these pimples on my face in the mirror, that hindered my confidence a lot. I thought people would judge me for these big red things on my face. It looked a little nasty, so I thought I was nasty myself. So that was when I started a skincare routine to mitigate these clogging stuff on my face, to clean my face efficiently and better so I don't have more pimples or acne. So if you don't have a routine, here's one you can follow. Find a cleaner, exfoliator, serum, and a moisturizer. And if you need to, have some pimple cream on your hands just to get rid of those specific pimples that you have. So what I do is I use a cleanser in the morning and the night, and after I clean my face, I put a moisturizer or the serum on. So in the nighttime, I clean my face, I put the serum on, but in the morning when I wash my face, I put moisturizer on. And for the exfoliator, you can use it 2 to 3 times a week. So use it before you actually wash your face. At least that's what I do. I don't think there's a really strict way to do it, but at least that's worked for me and has toned down my acne a lot. And at nights, if you have to, apply that pimple cream like I said. But anyways, when I started this routine, my face got more clear. But unfortunately, that's not the only thing that you have to do. If you have a lot of acne or pimples, that also comes from your diet. So what I did during that time as well was I drank more water. I ate more fruits instead, and my diet was more cleaner. And that was probably because I was also dialed in on track. And I probably added a lot more boost to me clearing up my acne. So, make a face routine and eat cleaner. If you don't know what to buy for your face, I'll link down the products that I use down below in the description. The next thing that you have to do, which I struggle a lot, is speaking slowly. There was a time in my life where I only spoke with a high-pitched voice. I didn't realize I was doing it back then, but it was from me being extremely nervous. I sounded like a complete unconfident loser whenever I talked to girls. Every sentence I spoke would end on a high pitched voice. I'll say, "Hey, my name is Kensei. What's your name?" And I would also stutter when I would say this. I was nervous and I was excited, and I couldn't control this energy that I was feeling. But I also didn't have enough experience with it, which is why I felt a lot of nervousness. What I did to get better at speaking was working at a restaurant job. When I started serving and bartending, that was when my speaking skills increased. During that time, I also had to focus on improving my speaking skills on YouTube. Back then, I started with vlogs, which they're still there. My first video ever is still up. And you could probably tell from the way I spoke back then to where I speak now. Maybe right now I sound a little lazy or emotional, but back then was pretty bad. I think I spoke really fast. I didn't sound as confident as I usually did because when I speak on camera, I think I'm more nervous too, especially in public. Like, you don't want to seem kind of weird and you get nervous speaking on camera in public, so that's probably why, because I'm pretty sure I speak better in person, but I just didn't have enough experience on camera. But anyways, the first thing I had to focus on was my cadence. Back then, I would speak slower and slower because if I spoke too fast to the customers, they wouldn't understand what I would say. That means I had to focus on my cadence, speaking slower so they had more time to register what I said, but also it helps me pronounce the words. As you can see what I'm doing right now, I'm trying to slow down my cadence so I can speak better and have a better pronunciation. Whenever I make these videos, I speak a lot more faster than I think, and I mess up my words a lot. So, whenever I spoke to a woman, or even on YouTube, I focused on my cadence, but also focused on having a lower tone at the end of my sentence. And when you have this lower tone, you sound more confident, more powerful. If you have a slower cadence, or you have a slower tone at the end of your sentence, it makes it sound more better and more confident. When you're able to have a lower cadence, have better pronunciation, but also have that lower tone at the end of your sentence, so it doesn't sound like a question every time you speak, that makes you sound more confident, and women love it. So practice your speaking skills, make content if you have to practice it, practice with your friends or your coworkers, or find a job that allows you to practice, and have fun with it. The next thing that you have to do is you have to hold eye contact. This is a no-brainer. Whenever you have a conversation with someone, hold eye contact with them. Back then, when I was a loser and I didn't speak well and I couldn't have a normal conversation, it's kind of sad to say it, but I wouldn't look in the eyes of the person. I would avoid it. Let's imagine you are the person, right? And I'm speaking. I would look to the left or to the right, or look up or down. I would just avoid that eye contact. I would speak like this, and I'd be like, "Hi, what do you like? Oh wow, you like that? I like track too. Wow." Like, come on, that doesn't sound nice. You're not giving that intimate moment with that person. There's no connection. You're preventing that connection, and you don't look confident in yourself because you're afraid of that eye contact, the most important part. And the person that I'm speaking to probably thought I was a loser, an awkward loser who couldn't hold eye contact and couldn't speak, and made this conversation really, really awkward. So, to make the conversation more personable, look at the person in their eyes, especially with women. When you ask for her number, even when you approach her and you introduce yourself, say your name, ask her what her name is, you have to look at her in her eyes, or else it'll just be awkward. She'll think of you as an unconfident person who doesn't trust himself, who's afraid of this interaction. If you're still scared of this eye contact and you want to ease yourself in, because I was hella scared and I didn't want to be that uncomfortable yet, what I did was I started to look at people in their eyes walking down the street. It could be at the mall or at school, but whenever you're walking down the hallway or down the street, when you see someone coming by, just look at them in their eyes, just stare. And well, you don't have to stare like a death stare, but just look at them in the eyes and then wait until he or she pulls out. You don't want to be the first one to look away. And I know it's really uncomfortable and awkward, but you're not going to see this person ever again. And this trains you to be able to handle that uncomfortable situation. When you're able to handle that emotion, that nervousness, it becomes easier and easier because you know how to handle it. So the next time you speak to that attractive girl, it's a little easier because you already have that uncomfortable moment. Now you have to focus on what you say and how you say things. And if you don't want to talk to that attractive girl yet, just practice it with your friends. Have that eye-to-eye contact with that friend. If you're working in the restaurant or a service industry, practice it as well. And then it'll become easier when you talk to that girl. So have eye contact because it's extremely important and a lot of men don't do it. The last thing that you have to do is upgrade your wardrobe. This is a more expensive and superficial approach, but unfortunately, first impressions matter. So let's say you have some dirty clothes on, maybe it's workout clothes or you have a graphic t-shirt on and you're trying to approach that girl that you like. She'll see you as someone who is more childish or someone who can't take care of their hygiene or itself because you're dirty. And they will most likely reject you. That's why if you're trying to approach someone or at least have that first date or on that first date, you have to dress nicely. If you dress nicely, you show up, you look presentable, they're like, wow, this guy knows how to style. He has nice clothes on, it's clean, it smells nice, it doesn't smell bad, and he looks good, well put together. That's why businessmen wear suits, because they look good, they look presentable. So get rid of any dirty or ripped clothes that you have. Don't wear a graphic t-shirt on the first date or when you're trying to approach a woman. And find a style that works for you. For me, a baggy style works a lot just because I don't like to show my muscles. But I just like the style because most of the pants fit because I got big thighs, and it just helps. Like it conforms to my figure. And if you like something else, go for it. There's a lot of different styles out there, different clothes that you can try. Just find a style that complements your body, which is part of working out. Having a fit body helps you be in any style that you can. If you want to find inspiration for outfits, go on Pinterest. There's lots of different styles that you can find of men in baggy clothes, streetwear, whatever that you're into. Find inspiration from there. Wear it while you're approaching or on that first date. So, look clean, be clean, talk well, have strong eye contact, and be strong. You'll look confident and attractive. Thank you for watching, bro. Subscribe and like the video for more content like this. And if you haven't already, check out last week's video right here. Go improve it.